Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I am your host, William, and today I just have Brian.
Hello.
I said if you watched the LMS yesterday, I did say we were gonna have Brian. Unfortunately, he lied to me. No, he like Brian and Brock always do. Always forget which podcast is on which day. So he thought LEC was going to be on Wednesday, so he had Wednesday off. And then he was like, oh, I can join. But then unfortunately, LEC is on Thursday, like it's been for a whole year. But yeah, so he won't be able to be here. So it's just me and Brian. So
Yeah.
with that, he actually had a pretty good week too. Me, Brian, and Ryan all had 7-3, and Brock finally was taken down from his pedestal. Well, he's still in first place, but he had just to give you a heads up. If you didn't realize what Brock was doing for league this or for Europe, 9-1, 8-2, 8-2, 8-2. Like,
It's pretty decent.
yeah. So the fact that he went to 5-5 this today, that was pretty good for us. So we can actually make a comeback here. But yeah, let's get right into the match history for these games. First up was Splice versus Misfits. I just made a weird sound. I'm sorry. Splice versus Misfits. This game, there was Misfits. Okay, it is Misfits starting their whole bench, their whole academy team joined in for this game. Misfits' starters are done. They're over. Why is my webcam down? I don't know. I'm gonna adjust that. There we go. I'm just like it's like bent down. There we go. But anyway, there. Okay, it's good now. But
It's probably from you smashing the table when you do bad in TFT and just
it could no. It's because I was hooking up my Switch because Fire Emblem comes out tonight and I'm so excited. But anyway, Splice, they were pretty much in full control after the first dragon. To be honest, they did get the 3 kills right after that as Misfits tried to contest it. Unfortunately, there was not the good time for Misfits to contest that. I think they kind of got baited by the Gangplank ult there, but it was closer to what a normal how it not I don't want to say normal, but how it usually goes for um, Misfits, their original team. And it wasn't bad. Actually, right here, right before this Baron, all these kills right here, here, and here, Misfits caught out Splice and got 3 kills for I believe one. I think it was a three. Yes, it was a 3-for-1. They only killed the support on Splice's. Or Splice only killed Misfits support, and I was like, holy crap! Splice just threw this game.
oh, I remember this.
Yeah,
This is when you got like 2v5 in
yeah, and
Baron.
then then Misfits went to the pit. They just did not have the damage for the Baron, and leader unfortunately missed or he missed his what's it called, Epscon or what,
Abscond, abduct,
yeah,
whatever.
Epscon, yeah, to humanoid. Humanoid dodged it, and then he also stole the Skarner ult, but was never able to get it off. If he was able to get that off, humanoid would have been able to be popped. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, so humanoid was not popped, and he ended up popping the entire team, which included because Rakan had come back as well, so he got a quadra kill. Probably should have got the pentakill. That was a little bit of a sneaky steal with the boomerang over the Baron pit by Vizichache. But like, oh man, it was just a complete cleanup for Humanoid, and immediately from there, Misfits had no shot. It was kind of funny, to be honest, because Misfits are known for their like throwing Baron plays that they always like. Think about every time Misfits lost in Spring Split because they threw at Baron. They bring in their academy team and it's like, oh, this is like a systematic like this is in their blood for Misfits to throw at Baron, and unfortunately it happened again. But they did. Besides that, they played okay. I thought. Okay, Splice is a very tough team to beat unless you're G2, but it's a little different. Next was SO4 versus Vitality. This game was pretty close as well. SO4 was usually in full control of the game. I feel like they were setting the tempo for the most part, and they were kind of pushing as like because Vitality only had 5 towers. What towers did they destroy? They never had the 2 inners on mid lane, but they had the bot lane pushed hard actually. But they outside of the bot lane, they really didn't have any pushing power through top and mid. They have the who was split between? Was it Jizuke? I think
It
it
was
was
Jizuke, and it
Jizuke.
was
Yeah,
very sad.
it wasn't great. It wasn't the cleanest of split pushes. Oh man, it was. Okay, I'm Echo. I can ult to go away, but I can't go that far. you know, like Rakan can still catch you on your ult, and Jizuke apparently has kind of forgot how to play Echo in that sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in him.
Yeah, like he kept overextending constantly and getting caught. That's 8 deaths, by the way. That's a lot of deaths, especially in a professional game. Like, ugh, it was like I said, like SF4. They were like you can see they were trading tower here. They traded another tower. Trade like they were always getting these tower trades, which was good, you know. But unfortunately, they traded tower here and a kill for 3 kills and a Baron. And what SF4 does with that Baron is 2 towers, an inhib, and 3 more towers. And I believe and then their second Baron, they got 3 more inhibs, like, and were able to just push the game. And that was that weird play where Cabochard was trying to flank, but unfortunately for Cabochard, that Vitality's or Trick caught him out in the jungle. And just he caught him out like right around here, and he just completely is like, well, Cabochard is with me. I am a CC bot on Sejuani. You guys deal with the 4v4 now because he is the only one on the team that's like doing anything. Though Attila was doing stuff like him a little bit, doing quite a bit of damage, 21k damage. But yeah, that was unfortunate. Tom Kench also only did 2k damage the whole game, but Tom Kench isn't really supposed to do damage, but that's still kind of low. Next was a massacre that it was not safe for work to watch. I was watching this one at work. And I'm just like, I think I texted Brian like, I feel bad. it was around the 14-minute mark, and G2 was up 8k gold. I'm like, ugh, I have some flashbacks here from Team Liquid. like it was a massacre, just all across the they had they gave up 25 kills on a under 21-minute game. G2 looked so clean. Everyone got wrecked on every lane. Jungle just look at bot lane especially. Bot lane especially just got destroyed. Perks and Mickey just absolutely destroyed Jessica and Mystiques, but like look at all these are under tower. You know? All 6 of these kills. It's brutal. It was just brutal. And G2 looks really, really good because it was like, okay, it's against Excel. They didn't do as bad, but they kind of did the same thing against Splice. Speaking of blowouts, this game was a weird one in the sense that you see the score, okay? 25-3. What was the last game? 25-3 as well, I think.
Maybe.
And it was a 21-minute game. This one took 33 minutes, and it was not nearly as clean. It was only a 5k gold lead for Rogue. Granted, Whippo was playing Rengar top. They didn't have Reckless in, which we knew coming in, but they subbed in Magifelix, I believe. That's how do you say it?
I think it's Magifelix.
Magifelix, and but they put him mid, which I know he is more comfortable in mid lane. But Nemesis, they put him on bot with Xayah. Like, why not go like a Karma or any type of Sona or Vlad or Yasuo, you know? Like any mid laner that goes bot. Like, why not do that if you're going to bring your mid laner to the bot lane like that at all? Like, I don't get the reasoning. But yeah, plus Whippo having one of his very hard ending games with that very clean Woolite play with the right here with the Sivir where he 1v1 Whippo, and it was basically because he threw his boomerang out and then Whippo went into the bush and he flashed into the bush as the boomerang was coming back and killed him. That was really clean. It was as clean as you can get with Sivir. Sivir's not a very flashy champion. Yeah, just everyone stomping everyone on Fnatic side, except for Magic Felix. Actually, he was actually playing really well. I think he had 22k damage. The next person highest player on his team was 7.6k of Whippo. So not only did Whippo go Rengar you go Rengar, you go to do damage. You don't really go to do anything else. He did 7k damage.
I messaged you before this game after I saw that. I said, "Can I change my pick?"
Yep. It was unfortunate.
I don't think I've seen it work, except maybe when Dardoch played it.
I've
randomly.
seen it work in solo queue.
Yeah.
It's annoying the face in solo queue, I will say, because you just go in the bush and you come out of the bush, and you go in the bush and you come out of the bush, and go in the bush and come out of the bush. Really annoying. but around coordinated team play, Rengar is not that strong if he's not really super broken in the jungle, because people kind of know where you are usually. Next, you had Origin versus, or not you, but we had in general, Origin versus SK. This was all the Nuke Duck show. Nuke Duck, to put into perspective, his team finished the game at a 10k gold lead. It looks like it was actually a 12k gold lead. It just wasn't updated at the very end there. So 12.4k gold lead. Not only that, he had 8.6k of that 12k over Pyrian. Just by himself.
Not great.
It was not not great for Pyrian. But Nuke Duck was a monster. This was a game. Corki only did 28.5k damage. I've gone in the sing, Brian. I don't know if you've seen Brian, but I think Corki does way more damage than he actually does, I think. But in this game it felt like he was doing so much. He only did 28k. Like Ezreal almost did as much as him.
He does an unreal amount of damage still.
Yeah.
Once he gets 3 items, it's
that's my reasoning. I think it's he doesn't do any real damage until his 2-item power spike, which I calculated. I think yesterday was like 8.5k gold with the boots on top of it. Like it's a long time to get that power spike, but once you get it, you're looking good. For sure. And Nuke Duck 10-0 and 11, most assists on the team and most kills. Like, he's part of 100% of Origin's kills, which I did not realize until just now. Like 100% kill participation. It was all the Nuke Duck show. Especially this one fight around bot lane right here that you could see, and it was actually it was 2-on-2 here. And then it was a 2-on-3 because or SK had actually picked off Cold, I believe. They pick off Cold and Patrick or something like that. I think it was Patrick, maybe. Or Cold. I don't remember. They picked off one person. But I just remember it was still Mithy and Nuke Duck, and Mithy went in, and so did Nuke Duck went right behind him, and just absolutely killed all 3 members that were on the bottom side of that, and it was disgusting. SK was getting a few picks, as you can see here. Like there. They were always getting a pick, but then it would always result in they would overextend after the pick and then get caught by Origin, and Origin would clean them up with Nuke Duck. Next, we had SO4 versus Excel. This game wasn't too exciting, to be honest. Well, there was that. There was the greatest. Where was it? That was around That was right here, I believe, at 27 minutes. There was I wish I could have the video ready. I should have had the video ready. It was the biggest escape I've ever seen from SO4 with Excel just overchasing and getting 2 kills or getting killed twice because of it. So basically, Upset, he did the overconfident Ezreal thing where you dash over the wall and immediately got Sejuani ulted. Got killed right there. And so all of a sudden SO4 was really low, I believe. Yeah, Expect was so all of SO4 was here. Expect's teleporting in this bush. SO4 is trying to escape. Basically, the annoyance of Tom Kench and Karma in this situation where where was it? Abadage goes to sacrifice himself right here, but Ignar's no, and he eats him and saves him and spits him out to the other side. He spits him out over here, so then Abadage dashes over this wall and gets away, while all of them now chase Ignar, but Ignar puts his gray health up, and then Otoame comes in and gives him a huge shield and a speed buff off of that. So then they start running down here, but in good news for Excel is Mickey is coming up here on the second flank of the fight to come get to get Trick, Odiname, and Ignar. And no, actually Ignar had gone over here. Ignar escaped this way, but Odiname was now being chased because they're all at like, I should have explained this. They're all at like 20 to 30% health at max in this situation, and all of Excel are essentially fully healed. So Mickey comes in, but he immediately gets chained by Silas and then rooted by Karma, so he had to burn his stopwatch, I believe, at the time. And then once his stopwatch came off, Ezreal or Karma, someone poked him to death. It was Karma. Karma just immediately pokes him to death. Constant Karma shields, so they just cannot get the kill. And then Expect dives in under tower because they hadn't taken the first tower yet, or it was like so close to the first tower. And then he gets immediately. The rest of the team wasn't communicating with that, so he just gets immediately CC'd. His GA burns, and then he dies again. And they all four of them survived. And I was like, this was like over like a minute 30 of just like, let's see, from the time. So like the time Ezreal died right here, and I've learned that these times aren't very accurate, but we're just gonna say it's about 25, 30-ish. To the time over here is like 27 minutes, and so it's like about a minute 30 of them running from here only like around like a zigzag only to right here. So they basically went from the inhib tower of blue side to the first tower of red side in mid lane over a minute and 30 of running like a zigzag pattern, and none of them died the entire time. It was amazing. It was very bad Excel wise. Like, I just felt bad for them in that situation. And then eventually, as you could tell, the next thing immediately was they didn't have good positioning around the Baron, obviously, because they had given up their inhib, and then they got the Baron, and then they immediately all died and lost everything. Next, we had Misfits versus Rogue, and Misfits come away with the victory. Misfits Academy getting a victory, unlike the normal Misfits squad wasn't able to do.
Dan.
Yeah, this was the Dan show. Like, he absolutely saved the game right here, where it was a neck and neck game. This one absolutely should have been Rogue's Baron, because they had gotten 2 kills, I believe. I believe it was a 2-for-1 at the situation, and the Baron was about to burn. But one of those kills included Kiri, so they didn't have the smite on Misfit's side. And then Dan just somehow steals it, you know? And usually that's Misfits messing up the Barons, but this time it was Rogue. He stole it, got 4 kills in total, so not only did they have the Baron, and then his Baron on super fed Jax, split pushing, like the whole game pretty much was basically, okay, let's have Dan split push, and then let's contest an objective like a Baron buff or something like that, and then or like another tower, and Dan's gonna push and almost win the game. And then it happened again, and then it happened a third time, but that third time they all just jumped with Dan. And they're like, okay, we're just going to join him this time, and then they won the team fight and won the game, and it was very, very impressive. Oh, they also stopped a bunch of backs while Misfits or Rogue rushed Baron and got it and secured it, but they stopped a bunch of backs. Oh, however, Corki was able to Larson was able to get back and stop a lot of the waves, so Dan wasn't able to necessarily push too much on that, but it still was enough. Obviously, as you can tell, they took the tower and then won the game because it was a 3v2 or 5v2 at that point. Mm-hmm. Next, we had Vitality versus Origin. Vitality coming away with the victory, and Jizuke, maybe you just gotta play the Corki. You know, I hate
just can't play the freaking
Echo or the LeBlanc, which is like the weirdest things in the world.
Right.
And but like we had Jarvan versus or Jarvan plus Fiddlesticks, and I hate to say this is the second game. I haven't caught up to many of the other regions at the moment, but at least in my knowledge, this is the second game of Fiddlesticks that has won in a row, and it's pissing me off. I hate Fiddlesticks support, and not in the sense that I hate it that because I think it's good. I don't think it's good at all. I think it's really abusive before level 9, and then it's kind of useless after that, after laning phase.
Yeah. Tell
Um,
that to my brother. He loves it.
but we have Draven also doing good work, I would say. Jizuke stole his kill from him, like right here, and almost paid for it. And I would love. I didn't see the mic check yet. I wonder if it was on there. Like Draven, obviously with the passive, wants to cash out, and they kind of like left the kill for him. And Jizuke took the kill under the tower and like took a tower shot and immediately was down to like 1 HP. And I was like, oh man, I bet Attila kind of wanted him to die for that. But yeah, that was Corky got fed. It's all good at the end of the day.
Imagine flaming your teammates in pro because you're playing Draven and they steal your cash in.
Nah, I bet it happens. Especially if your support steals it.
Oh my god. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. That one.
Yeah. I'm not tilted at all. Next was Fnatic versus SK. Fnatic put Reckless back and they put him on the Karma. If you want to tell me what's going on in Fnatic's head right now, let's put the crit. Let's put Nemesis as he's an ADC. Let's put or when he goes to bot lane, let's put him on the crit ADC. But when we get Reckless back, let's put him on the mage. Like what?
And then they played the ADTF too.
Yeah, and then, like why can't you just rotate the AD2F to bot lane? I didn't get it. I did not get it. But needless to say, they were absolutely this game started out really crazy. There was a bunch of flashes burned at level 1, right here, and like just an ignite, and it was a mess. But Broxa did end up getting first blood on Sakurai, but he unfortunately did die right after that because he used his ignite or his flash and his kick already. So he pretty much died immediately after that. But that's what you call worth, even though I don't. How many flashes were burned there? I don't even remember. I know. Sakurai's,
idea.
Pyrian's, Broxa's, and I believe Hylissang's was also burned. And Hylissang also had Ignite burned as well. But like it was a lot. It was a lot of summoners right off the start. But it didn't matter too much because, as you can tell, SK didn't get any objectives the entire game, and the only kills they got, they traded a 1-for-1. But they lost the Baron, which was a very weird Baron to lose because Broxa died. And hang on 1 second. Sorry. But Selfmade had the smite opportunity on the Baron, but he lost it to Nemesis anyway. And then they lost a bunch of team fights. Got a kill, but gave up 3 kills in tower and a Rift Herald. And then pretty much all of that. It was not good. Next, last game was G2 versus Splice. And while Splice did handle it better than Excel.
Yeah, hopefully.
It still wasn't very good though. Like
No.
they were down by 1 point by the 20-minute mark. They were down 5k gold, and it was pretty much looking over from there. They did. Oops, I just like spit. They did get a few picks against against Caps on the Kiana, but like the second Baron came around, G2 just absolutely took it, killed Humanoid. Humanoid did not have the same Akali game as he did previously. This time he had a really bad one at 2-7.
I love the Yasuo Gragas bot lane too.
Yeah, it's such a good bot lane.
Taking the mid jungle synergy from C9 or whatever.
Yeah.
And just we can play that anywhere else and take the power pick in Kiana.
Yep. And then they picked the Victor top. See, every pick I'm not liking. Victor top, Fiddle support. It's winning, and I don't like it. They need to stop it.
I mean, he did go 0-2-2.
Yeah, you know. The rest of the team was having a lot of fun. It didn't really work too much up on top. It held enough, so GP didn't get super mega fed. And that's what's important. But yeah, from there.
Also, one thing that you always say in NA that you say that TL is just so much better than everyone in NA. Like you think there's a huge gap between first and second.
Yes.
And I agree. Like there is. but there is nowhere near the gap in NA that there is in
Oh,
EU.
absolutely not.
Like it's so crazy how good G2 is
Yeah, G2.
compared to the rest of their league.
Well, the thing is, like, I would rank Team Liquid a top 10 team. I would rank G2 probably a top 3 to top 5 team at worst. Like, probably top
Yeah.
3. So it's like, that's. I would.
If they're third, so I'm guessing you have Fun Plus
Fun
and
Plus and IG, because IG is back in form now.
still IG.
They beat Fun Plus last week, and it was amazing.
Okay,
And they're back in form, finally.
good.
But also, top esports is fantastic. RNG looks fantastic. Like, China has 4 teams that I would put in the top 5, especially if Korea struggling. I'd put like all 4 of those plus G2. I don't know the exact like ranking, and then probably uh, Damwon, Sandbox, Fnatic, and then Liquid probably. So that's about where it is. Like, I would say top 10 wise. It is weird to say, like, I know I'm a bit biased, but I don't think it's that big of a reach to say Liquid and like G2 and Fnatic. There's like 3 NA and EU teams in the top 10 in the world, where there's only like 1 or 2 Korean teams as well. Because the rest of the
I'm
Korean teams
happy.
are
I'm
kind of
happy with that. It makes it a little bit more interesting.
yeah. I'm just sad that the top 4 in the LPL are like I said, like top 4 in the world, and automatically one of them is not making worlds by default.
Yeah.
So like,
I'm
it's
also excited for one thing: the top 20 players at Worlds, which is normally like Korea, China, like
yeah.
all those players, and then you get like Double Lift, who
Yeah, he
hasn't
hits like
performed
19th or 20th, and
amazing.
you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, we got
yeah,
an NA player in there. Woo!
yeah. Exactly. But now it's gonna be like, I don't know, maybe Core JJ at like top 10,
Oh yeah,
maybe.
if Core JJ continues with what he's doing like right now, like if he gets back onto that spring split MVP like playoff hype train, teams in NA gotta watch out because it's scary how good Core JJ is.
Gotta watch out for Biofrost
Mm-hmm.
coming for that. Well, I guess the first team stuff like MVP is already done, like for NA, but not MVP, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
If it
Awesome.
was ongoing, he's coming for that first team support.
Uh, let's get back to EU, where we have week 6 power rankings. We both unanimously have our top 4 of G2's Fnatic, Splice, and SO4. You moved G2 up over Fnatic. It makes total sense if Fnatic lost to Rogue, even though they didn't have Reckless in, but G2 just looks like they're super dominant right now.
Yeah,
We
it gave me an excuse in my head to be able to
move them back.
justify it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just like, okay, it makes sense. But
yeah,
we also had Fnatic take that loss, but I didn't want to drop him below Splice. Even though Splice lost to G2, like Fnatic looked a little more dominant than Splice. Almost threw that, like I said, outside that one Baron throw. I mean, they were winning the game before that, but they did throw that Baron, or before the Baron, to Misfits Academy. So they didn't look as clean in that game as I was kind of hoping they would. They still won it pretty well. So it wasn't like a huge negative or anything like that. It was more like not a positive, not a negative type situation. And losing to G2 that bad wasn't really either for that as well. But Fnatic's win with Reckless back and just dominating against SK, I know it's SK, but that kind of made me feel like comfortable keeping them at second place right now. And then SO4, they did their job 2-0 this week. I think solid second still, moving closer to that top 3. I personally have Rogue number 5 and Vitality number 6. Uh, and then you have OG number 5 still, Rogue number 6, and Vitality number 7. So that's where we differ. I'm very disappointed with Origin because even in their win, it was very lackluster of a
I
win.
just think Nuke Duck's that good.
Nuke Duck is
I mean,
really good. Like he was the only one that showed up. That was my issue. Is like he carried hard, like really really hard. So
yeah,
like
I mean, I just think like Rogue is. I mean, they have 4 wins to be fair, but like they're getting wins, and like Vitality is struggling a lot. That's why I didn't move them up so much. And I mean, their win against SO4 was good, but it wasn't like crazy. And then I don't know, OG like I just feel like in a best of 5, I know I always complain
you
about
always
you
complain
doing
about
this,
me doing that. Now we're on the opposite
but like
side.
but like I feel like in a best of 5, Rogue and Vitality don't stand a chance. Like against OG.
I'll give it to you over Vitality. The only reason I actually had Origin over Vitality, you kind of made me change that at the before the podcast because I feel the
I mean,
same.
yeah, I asked you. I said, "Do you have a Vitality over OG?" And you're like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, then I don't feel as bad like
Yeah,
doing
but then you're like,
this."
well, they beat Origin. I'm like, well, shit, they did.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, they're only a game behind him in the standings, actually. Oh, hey, Ryan said he's on his way home. I don't know if he'll actually make it because we are already almost in predictions, but maybe. I don't know how far you are from home, but but yeah, we had. I just I don't know. It might be just me being more frustrated with Origin that I put them so far because they're 5-5 now, and I expected them to be at the level of Fnatic at least, not G2 level because there's really it's near impossible to be at G2 level I think, but I expect them to be around the same level as Fnatic, especially definitely around the same level as Splice for sure, and they're not even close. So I think that's more of a rage drop than anything. More, I have higher expectations. Let's just say that. And they're failing to meet them more than the other two teams.
Yeah.
We both moved Misfits up. The academy team they had a lot of fight against Splice. They didn't win, but then they did win their second game. So that and I'm totally blanking on who. Oh, Rogue against Rogue, and that was really good by them. That's why I was a little worried about moving up Rogue as well by one because they did lose to Misfits Academy. But this was a good win for them, and with SK getting embarrassed in their game and Excel also being embarrassed in their game, like they actually had a pretty strong early game, I believe, against Origin, but outside of that, they looked really bad. And so Excel's down back to 10th. SK's dropped to 9th in my power rankings. So they've dropped worse than they were in the preseason for me, which I thought it was bold of me to put them in 8th in the preseason, but apparently I hit that one perfectly, and I'm happy about it.
Do you have our preseason rankings
No, I don't.
somewhere? Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. I mean,
I
as
guess
long
I
as
do.
get G2
I guess I do on
first,
YouTube if we go look at the
oh
video
yeah,
for YouTube.
we can check the tape. I'm not too
Yeah,
worried about it.
yeah. But yeah, it should be quite. SK has looked really bad. Like outside, even self-made has struggled a lot. But that's kind of what I thought would happen when it's. I know they have Pyrian and stuff, and you like Pyrian, but like the
I'm
rest
out.
of
I'm out
you're
on it.
out. You're out after that like almost 10k gold lead in mid lane
God,
alone against
it's so
Nuke.
bad.
But
Like,
yeah.
like I've given him so many chances. He's good. He replaced Faker. Not that Faker was playing great that split, but you know.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'm done.
yeah, it's like it's mostly just self-made, and when teams learn that and like learn to just constantly focus, pick lanes that are going to be aggressive, so then your jungler can invade self-made and like get him to fall behind. Like you're gonna win a lot of games against something like that.
Yeah.
And picking aggressive also because benefits because you know you're gonna beat the other person in lane like really easily. But
Right.
with that, I guess we will go straight to our predictions, which neither of us have actually done. We're doing them
This
on
is
the
how I like to
fly.
do it, though. I like doing them on the fly. Okay, so because most of the time you pick first, and
Hmm.
it's only two of us, let's do. You can pick the first game first. I'll pick the second game first. We'll just rotate.
Got it. Okay.
So
So
yeah, because I
so
don't. I
okay.
sometimes get swayed by you picking first.
Got it. Got it. So the first game is SO4 versus SK. SO4 did come off their upset against Vitality, but I think they will be totally fine, especially in the bot lane of with upset. That SO4 should be totally fine against SK. I don't think I don't think it's gonna be too much of an issue. I think Trick has been really good for them, and that he should be able to shut down self-made enough that the rest of the lanes can handle themselves just fine.
Yeah, I think Abidage's been playing great, and he's playing against a trash mid laner.
Yes.
Uh,
And
so
you're completely 180 now.
yeah, no, I'm just disappointed in him. But
So same thing as me in Origin.
yeah, I'm disappointed with SK. I mean, jungle self-made. Oh, he's so good, but he hasn't done anything.
Hmm.
So like, SK has nothing for me.
I'm sure the jungle mains out there will be like, well, you can't do anything when all your lanes lose.
With all your lanes, yeah. Okay, play carry jungler. Like, Proxo had 10 kills on Lee Sin. Like, Make your lanes win.
In solo queue, I almost like think the situation is when all three of your lanes lose. It usually means your jungler was the problem. If they're not all losing lanes, if they're all losing lanes, then you're kind of out of luck. But if they're not
Or
all losing lanes, I mean, it
or if
can.
you're the jungler and your team is like, let's say like 06, like your bot lane's got two deaths, mid lane's got two deaths, top lane's got two deaths, and it's like 10 minutes. Maybe not the jungler fault.
Yeah, maybe not. But at the same time, maybe they're not ganking, or they're not counter ganking, or just not sending any pressure, and the other jungler is just free roaming on the ganks. It all depends on the situation, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're Vessel 4? Did you
Yeah.
already say that? All right, you do
All
the next
right.
one then.
So the next one, we have Excel, who has looked better, but still not great. I really am happy for Rogue, and I think this is going to be great for them because they have a chance. Looking at their next game, they play Vitality on Saturday. They have a chance to go 2-0, and for I believe the first time in their short history, to be positive.
Yeah, and they have SK next week as well for the first game.
Wow. So they have a chance to go even again, but I think they'll bring it back to, well, they're 4-6. They won't bring it back to even yet, but I think they'll get within one game. So I'm going Rogue.
I'm also agreeing with the Rogue team. I'm more hyped on this team. I think Excel is just watch again. If if you need to go see a Fiesta, go watch Excel chase.
Excel's bot lane.
Yeah, just watch them go chase for a minute 30 just from their own tower that we described. It's that should sum up Excel. Or go watch them face G2, but that was just cruel. You don't want to watch that. It's just mean.
Yep.
Next we had G2 versus Origin, and
Uh, on LOL Esports,
this is
it does
different.
say it's Fnatic Misfits.
Okay, we will go Fnatic Misfits, and we'll go off LOL Esports. Though it's not always right because it was wrong
This
last week.
this one is wrong. Okay, we can go off that.
But no.
If that's we can go off the one you're doing.
Okay.
I'm watching
Okay.
the stream, so yeah, I can see it.
Okay, we'll just do G2 Origin then. This one, Origin, super disappointing week or last week with a 1-1, but they really should have gone 2-0 in my opinion. They should not have lost that game to Vitality. They lost to Vitality, not SO4. I think I said SO4 earlier, but SO4 beat Vitality. My bad. I apologize. But then the week before they lost to Rogue and they beat Excel. Like, I don't know. I think I don't think it's gonna be close. This is gonna be the same as the finals where they 6-0'd them, except it's gonna be worse.
Yeah, I don't think G2 can be caught right now.
Mm-mm.
I think if they lose a game, it's like
Trolling.
I mean, I'm sure they technically don't right now because they're in going into week 6. They don't have playoffs locked, but they have playoffs locked. Like
They don't even have first lock.
they don't. They pretty much do. I mean, Fnatic, yeah, sure, maybe, but yeah, I'm going G2, and I don't think there's really much that OG can do. Maybe you get Craps and Nuke Duck takes over the game. That's really all I can see.
That's Craps is G2's version of IG's fun game, kind of like pretty much. But yeah, it's you can't really predict that. It's like with against IG, you can't really predict them to have. You expect them to have their fun game, but they play it serious towards the end. Like they just have a good fun 25 minutes where you're like, what are you doing, IG? But yeah, I think G2 will be just fine. You're up next.
Okay, so we have Vitality and Splice. Um, this one's tough because I think Vitality, as long as Jizuke isn't inting his face off, has looked
like
better.
all season.
Like all season. But you see the game when he's popping off and they win. I mean, it still wasn't super convincing. They beat OG, but I think this one could I won't say it's a trap game for Vitality because EU is weird in the sense that everyone is so close in the standings. I mean, Splice is ahead of most teams, but like I can't really gauge how good and how bad people are
Got
because
it.
I feel like OG is 5-5, but they probably are closer to where you rank. Like they're not good. Rogue is 4-6. I don't think they have like the super talent,
Mhm.
where they might make playoffs this split. And same with like Schalke. Like Schalke is good, but they're not ever gonna win the split.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much better Splice is than Schalke. And the same with Vitality. I don't know how close they are to the other teams. I'm still gonna go Splice.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like I think EU is so back and forth in the middle of the pack.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Like hell, fifth to ninth place is a 2 game difference. Like the team in fifth could be tied for ninth by the end of 1 week.
Yeah.
Like we could have Origin at ninth place if SK and Misfits all go both win 2 games and Vitality and Rogue win one and Origin goes 0-2. All of a sudden you're in a like 4-way tie for fifth to ninth or 5-way tie. But yeah, so I absolutely agree with that point that you made. I also am going Splice. I just think it's because the person or Suzuki's had a very terrible split. Hello there. Is that
Hello.
It's
Ryan?
Ryan.
That is me.
How are you? You did make it just in time.
I was like hauling ass, by the way.
You should have been doing that.
Now, I wasn't texting unless I was at a stoplight. It's
There you
fine.
go. There you go. That's good. That's good. But yeah. So I am gonna pick Splice because I think Humanoid is going, who's had a fantastic year, I think, is going to just stomp on Jizuke, who's entered in like 90% of the games so far.
Yeah.
He's had like 1 or 2 good games, and the rest has been really bad.
Humanoid has to be a listener because I absolutely scorched earth him.
And then he
And
just popped
ever
off.
since he's just like, you know what? Fuck that Brian guy. I'm gonna play well, and he has just turned it around.
Also, Kabe is gonna beat up on Attila pretty big.
Unless like Humanoid is randomly playing Kiana, and like it wasn't Kiana, it was Akali, and he was just like half inting some of the
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, that was against G2.
That
though.
made me so sad as the guy who spliced in that game.
Yeah, that was against G2. That was your
Yeah.
mistake.
But hey, man, I was the biggest Misfits Academy stan that
You
game,
did.
and it paid off. I
You did.
believed.
So if you want to catch up super rapid fire with your predictions,
Okay, I'm
Ye-
actually trying to like pull up the schedule on the Gamepedia site right now, so I'm like in line with you guys.
got
But
it.
yeah, just kind of going over. I was listening like just on Bluetooth on literally as I was driving.
Nice.
But I kind of agree with most of what you were saying. I think Rogue has a big chance this week. I think SK and Excel are just not good enough to take down Schalke or Rogue, so I pick both of them. Same things with G2 and OG. How far they have fallen, I think G2 continues to smash OG. And if we're talking the Vitality and Splice, I think Splice can bring some spiciness into the game and maybe kind of catch Splice like sleeping in the early game. But I feel like at the same time they're also prone to just shooting themselves into the foot repeatedly, and Splice would just kind of take advantage of that. And so I take Splice over the Vitality.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jizuke was playing Singed and he was like 3-8 split pushing, maybe it's fine because you're playing Singed. But on the Echo, you don't really do a whole lot.
No, I was getting some Worlds flashbacks with that Echo. But hey, at least he was actually making some plays. I was joking the entire time watching the Splice G2 game and thinking, man, Humanoid's just doing a great job trying to cosplay Jizuke this game because he is 50-50 every single play he makes.
Yeah, that's sometimes what you got to do against G2 at the same time because we're like, we got to make things work. Unfortunately, 50-50 seem to be their
Yeah,
specialty.
like G2 has freaking Harvey Dent's weighted coin. Both sides are heads. They
Yep.
never coin flip.
Well, except for Caps.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Caps sometimes switches his mouse over to his left hand, and he's just like, maybe I can beat him like
He's
this.
trying.
Let's try. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Fnatic versus Misfits Academy. I'm still gonna call them Misfits Academy this entire time.
Well, actually, I looked it up. Apparently, it's Misfits Premier.
Is it
That's the name of the team. They're in the French league.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I saw that. I
Yeah.
don't know why I never.
We'll still call them Misfits Academy. It's
Yeah,
funny.
it
Yeah,
makes
it
it
is
funny. But news out of Misfits is that I never talked about the one thing. Oh well, but the bug that when what's his face? I don't even know the ADC's name off the top of my
Oh,
head.
he
He
sold
sold it, but like he didn't really. It was like a
Yeah,
bug.
like he double clicked it and it like sold like an item that was in a different slot. It was It was so
Yeah.
weird. And then the Riot deemed it to be player error, and that's working as intended. So I'm like, okay,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and then they said player error, and then like people went back after the game to the POV stream, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, that was not player error. that was a bug."
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
ProView's great, but when Riot's like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to touch on the spaghetti code that is League of Legends. Like apparently Jace was disabled for NA Academy this week,
Really?
and I have no idea why. It's not like he's a buggy mess like Mordekaiser.
Yeah, that is true. But for Misfits, they also had Gorilla and Soaz leave the team today. Like,
Shocker.
We kind of knew both of them were going to leave, so surprise of no one, with Rush spoiling that he's going to be living in Korea with the Gorilla, and Soaz coming out on Twitter after he gets benched and say, "Thanks for all the teammates, can't wait to see you at Worlds next year." Like, that sounds like someone who is not staying at the team.
Yeah.
So,
And I actually feel really bad. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brian. I didn't
No,
mean to
I
cut
was
you off,
just
dude.
saying. No, I was just saying. So I was saying, see y'all at Worlds 2020.
it's not a tweet if you're on the Academy team or the Premier team.
Yeah.
Mhm. I feel bad for like that Misfits lineup. It's like the 100 Thieves lineup, but they never rebounded.
Yep.
It's so unfortunate because I actually like a lot of the players. I thought Max Lore, like even like last year, and even like in their that Misfits like Worlds run where they almost upset SKT.
Mm-hmm.
Like Max Lore was good,
Yeah.
but I don't know what happened to this
I
dude.
have no idea. He's
But then again, I don't know what happened to
terrible.
I don't know what happened to Gorilla. I don't know what happened to Soaz in like the couple of months he was with this team from when he was at the finals at Worlds. I don't know what happened to Hans Sama when he was like considered to be probably one of the best AD carries in Europe.
Mhm.
Watching too much anime.
I had no idea, dude.
Not enough practice. I'm kidding.
I know it's a conversation that could take us into a really long direction, but I'd actually be curious of where you guys think that any of these Misfits players are going to end up. I mean, obviously, Gorilla is probably going to Korea.
Gorilla's
Do you think?
going to Korea? Do you think he'll?
You think maybe? You
like,
think maybe
Prey?
a reunion on KT?
Yeah.
with Prey?
I think that's quite possible. I do think because KT sucks.
Oh my god! Imagine if they got Rush and Gorilla back.
Oh my god, they're getting the squad back.
That'd be and then they
back
just make the
now.
run to Worlds. It'd be amazing. It'd be so cool for the kind boy.
If that's how Rush plays jungle against NA junglers,
Maybe, hey man, maybe it's just a level of competition. Maybe Rush just starts smurfing once he's in the better league.
maybe.
Yeah, I don't think Rush is gonna be playing
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about more like Han Sama and Soaz too, because like those two being very much like these higher end carries. Han Sama being much younger and also much spicier to pick. If a team, because I don't know if a team would pick. Like I'm not sure
Excel.
like what team would pick them. Yeah, maybe Excel.
Rogue maybe.
Bottom team, Vitality. If they get rid of Attila,
That might be. That's a very good one, Brian.
yeah.
Vitality.
That's true.
Han Sama's not a major upgrade though. He's more of a
Yeah.
side grade.
It's one of those things too, but it's like what? But would they get rid of Attila when Attila seems like to be such a big part of like the Vitality image, like the type of image they portray? Like it's almost like trash talk.
That's why I'm like I think maybe because I think Han Sama's a slight upgrade, but I don't know. Like if he's the image, you might want to go for a bigger upgrade type situation to replace that.
You'd like line up all the Vitality players, and Han Sama would be like the guy who definitely doesn't belong in this team. Just looks he's just so stark contrast from everyone else.
Yeah, for sure. So with
Yeah.
Misfits though, let's talk.
Yes. Anyway, yes.
Do you think that
the better Misfits team?
the Misfits Academy team will be able to take down Fnatic? I do not think so. They look
Well, I
good.
don't know.
They look
If
good.
Whippo decides to troll on Rengar,
Yeah,
top,
okay,
then
okay.
maybe.
Can we all take our mulligan if Whippo goes Rengar? This game we flip. Like, oh,
God, I
that's-
wanted it
Oh god,
last.
here come. Yeah, I felt bad. I actually felt bad for Magic Felix. The dude was trying.
yeah, he was
but
the only one doing good on the entire team.
that entire team, even Broxit was like hard trolling. I don't know what. Literally, Fnatic looked like looked like Echo Fox that game.
I think what people said, and I would compare it more to Clutch in the sense that they tried too many things at the same time. I don't know
Yeah.
why teams think this is a good idea to try three new things that you want, like three things that you might be scrimming with or like trying out that might work. Don't try them all at the same time. Like it never works out. And teams do this
Or
way
if
more
you
often
do-
than they should.
If you do, try it against Excel or SK.
True. Yeah. Well, to be fair,
Coming into the week, you probably look at Rogue as like, oh, we could do this against this team. It's not gonna be a problem.
yeah, I just don't agree with trying multiple things. It's the same thing as what
Yeah.
G2 and Rift
Yeah, no,
Rivals
me neither.
against Team Liquid. When I'm like, okay, some of these parts might work, like the Evelyn jungle, which they've never played before.
AP Shyvana top.
AP Shyvana top, like that could be a thing. AP Shyvana is a legitimate threat. I think I've faced it, and it is terrifying. we went through that streak where we faced it constantly, didn't we, Brian?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it
You
hurt.
get hit with that flame breath for 1,000 damage.
Yeah, it's insane. But maybe don't try it with the ZADC at the same time.
They literally import Cody's son just to play Zed.
Yeah, yeah, seriously.
I played it in an ARAM and almost got a Penta. I got a Quadra and got my Penta stolen. And it was literally, I just ulted and then just flame breath and it was a triple kill.
It's
Get your second one, Quadra, and then the fifth one just, like, it was
I've-
stupid.
I hope you reported that teammate, by the way.
Yeah, I got
Report
that
him in an
after
ARAM for denying you your Penta.
after action report that they've been banned.
Nice. But
But yes.
for this game, I'm gonna pick Fnatic for this game.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go out on a limb and pick Fnatic.
No, big
Yeah,
limb there.
It's a very
I have-
sturdy limb.
Definitely saying Fnatic this game. It'd be amazing if Misfits comes out and wins, but I don't see it happening.
That would, especially because that would put them probably 2-0 on the week, which would put this
Yeah.
academy team 3-1 since coming out. That would be
Hell yeah.
amazing. What would 2-0 do for Misfits? That would put them in playoff contention, which is insane to think about.
They would jump them in the power rankings, is what it will do.
Oh, for sure. Next game.
Get out of the way, Origin. Here comes Misfits.
Yeah, really, especially if Origin very well easily losing both games this week, which is weird. Like that might happen. That nine team tie I was talking about in the middle of this podcast.
Oh,
If-
that's happening.
Like
That's happening.
Origin can legitimately. EU loves their tiebreakers. But yeah, we got SO4 versus Splice. Or Brian, this is your game. SO4 versus Splice.
Okay. So this is a great. I think this is probably the game of the week, just based off matchup.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like this one matters the most for these teams because, well, I'd say it matters a little more for SO4 than Splice just because of the position in the standings. But this is to see who really deserves third place because I think Splice is good. They they didn't play terrible against G2, but it is G2. But they're definitely not a top team. I'm gonna go SO4 actually.
Ooh, okay.
I really believe in upset. I think Abadage has been playing great. I know Humanoid is good, but I don't know. I think Abadage is a little more consistent for me.
Really? Okay, so
Really.
that's interesting because I'm going Splice because
Splice for the
I
opposite
think
reason.
Humanoid is a little more consistent in the mid lane, and I like Kabe just slightly better than Upset. Like, so that's very
funny.
interesting that we have like very similar takes, but we're picking different teams.
I was actually just kind of like grinning to myself a little bit just hearing Brian, because that's basically the entire thing I was thinking of when I looked over some of the matchups
Ooh,
last
okay,
night,
so-
and I was just like, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna come out with this pick, and it's everyone else is gonna go with the Splice pick, and I'm gonna be against the grain. But no, great minds think alike, I guess, because I'm actually going for Shulka as well. I think that, like you said, I feel like they match up pretty well. I think Humanoid has had higher highs than Abadage, but I think Abadage has been far more consistent in lane. And I think if Splice just tries to play there, like, let's just control the game, go for late, and Kabe is just going to be a team fight monster, it's like, okay, well, we have... That doesn't exactly... Like, they kind of match up to their style pretty well, and I think they're a little bit more active in the early game than Splice is, and they can kind of just put Splice on the back foot, like, not as bad as, like, versus G2, but enough to the point where they might be catching him in mistakes, and they could just out-team fight him, and be at a power spike enough where they can't actually do what they want to do,
Yeah,
and they just take that game.
The big mistake I see happening is Upset gets Ezreal again, because it's not like a super contested pick. he east forward, and then Xerxes playing like Skarner or something.
They say, well,
Bold.
it's a Skarner.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I'm really not confident, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
go with it. It's not that crazy of a pick.
Yeah.
It's not.
Not crazy.
It's like you were saying the same thing, Ryan. Where you're like, I'm gonna go against the grain. I still remember. I can't remember what it was, Brian. I just remember you coming into the podcast like, I got a spicy prediction or something like that. And then we all had
I
it.
don't remember.
I just remember all three of us had that exact same prediction. Like, guess it wasn't that spicy. Next, we have Vitality versus Rogue. This game is not. I wanted to call it Game of the Week because it's two teams not in the playoffs at the moment, but
Matters a lot though.
it does
It matters
matter
to them.
a whole lot for both these teams. And these two teams have already faced. How did who won the first time they faced? Let me just.
I believe
It was Rogue. It was
Rogue,
Rogue.
Rogue and Vitality.
Rogue won in week 2.
Rogue won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when Vitality was on their
Oh.
0-4 streak to start the season, and their
Yeah.
only win was against Excel for their first. Excel and SK, really, those were the only two Vitality wins, and Misfits.
That was like the that was like the debate is Vitality probably worse one of the worst teams in the league at that time because they were like losing to the bottom teams.
I'm gonna go actually with the Rogue just looking back at that because Vitality's only win against a team that's above them is Origin, and that's again a little shaky. So Rogue, however, has beaten Fnatic. Granted, it was without Reckless. They've beaten Vitality, which are tied with them, and they did lose SK, which is not good. And let's see, what else does Rogue have in a victory slot? Origin, so they also have the Origin win. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go for Rogue, I think, right now against Vitality. I think they're just slightly better. Again, I just don't trust Jizuke at all at the moment. Like, I think that's what it mostly comes down to for me, is that I don't want when your mid lane controls so much in pro play. And just in regular league as well, but especially pro play, because you're controlling the dragons with your jungler, like the priority. You're controlling the Rift Herald early. You're also controlling all the early gank bot lane. So if you're having a really, really bad time in mid lane, and the enemy mid laner is able to easily access the dragons for a jungler, or just go for a gank and roam and get a bunch of tower plates, that can snowball a game really, really hard at the moment.
Yeah, I mean it's also the shortest lane.
Yep.
So if you feed that lane, they're gonna have the quickest track straight to the win.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Also, it's a reason why TF is played mid because his ult can span to both sides in the side lanes. It's just an easier time to like have a global presence on the map.
I had a stat I found the other day that was so depressing. TF top lane has been played just as much as any tank on top lane now in this season, and it made me so depressed.
I'm upset. I blame Dokla for this.
like Poppy is like one of the only tanks that have like played all season long. That's pretty much it.
Licorice is trying to help you out, man.
Yeah, he is. he
He's
played
trying.
the Malphite. He played that Malphite.
It wasn't great, but he was trying.
And that's why tanks aren't going to be played anymore. They've been like, oh, let's try the tank out.
Oh
Oh,
my-
never mind.
Oh my God, have you been hearing this stuff about like 80 carries top lane?
Yeah, I've been watching Vayne top lane
freaking
kill Mordekaiser.
no, I'm not even like that. Like obviously that's like the big thing because Vayne could just kite up Mordekaiser and make his life a living hell. But I'm talking about like apparently Corki top and Tristana top are becoming things.
What the hell? I have not heard that. Tristan, I could see Corki just because it's Corki.
I've heard the rumblings about LPL teams practicing those picks.
Really? Did they play him on stage?
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched
Yeah.
them yet.
Well, I saw like a little snippet of like the C9 Academy game, and they actually put Kumo on Corki.
Okay.
But it wasn't a top lane. They actually pulled the whole G2 thing, and they actually flexed Golden Glue top lane on Kled, and then moved him to mid.
Okay.
But that was like they were saying people were actually wondering if the Corki was going to go top lane, and they mentioned that in Tristana. So, yeah, that might be weird. I mean, I think it's good. It's almost like a response to like picks like Jace, Kennen, and Nico are like, oh man, these range champions are all getting nerfed in their early game. Let's just pick other range champions. And especially with like the quick clear that Tristana has, and then like the ability to pressure towers early, and then just kind of get out if someone tries to come in on her with a rocket jump.
Yeah,
It's actually pretty decent in theory.
makes sense. But like, we could put people on Maokai duty.
Oh my god. Could you
That's
imagine
what you
Maokai
want,
trying to
though.
land against a Tristana?
I don't want to. Alright.
Anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and give some of my thoughts on the Vitality Rogue game. I actually think this one is like you said, just as close to call as the Schalke Splice game. But I think that trying to compare like, oh, Rogue, they beat Vitality back then is kind of like a weird thing to say because I think Vitality has stabilized a little bit more because they're like complete garbage at the beginning,
Yeah.
and Rogue has actually gotten somewhat better too. But I think that Vitality has made better strides, and people are stepping up. I think that there is enough carry potential on Vitality to just outclass Rogue. I feel like if Rogue wins, they just win off of just cohesive team play, and Vitality just kind of repeatedly shoot themselves in the foot. But with that, I think I am gonna pick Vitality to take this game. I think Rogue puts up a fight; they could easily win this game, but I think Vitality can take.
Brian?
Huh. I think y'all both made great points. William, you kind of made me doubt Vitality just because the exact opposite of what Ryan said, where you don't take it into account. But I am thinking at the same time they had a really rough start. The split, they're like one game into the second half of the split. So they've beat all the bottom teams, so that means they should be. Well, have they beat all of them? I guess
They
didn't
beat every
Rogue.
team that's behind them.
Yeah. So I
Misfits,
think
SK,
they're
and
on their
Excel.
way up. They haven't played any great opponents since, or who'd they play last week?
They played last week. They lost to SO4,
SO4.
and they beat Origin.
I'm gonna go Rogue because that's what I had in my head before y'all both made your points. So y'all have both torn me, and I just don't know.
Just gonna stick with what you originally had.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge you for that, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I said, I think this game is tight, and that's sad because it's Vitality,
Yeah.
and we're calling it a Vitality and Rogue game, and it's close.
Yeah. It's Vitality's had a rough 5 months.
Yeah, I
Brian.
think we just give it Teledraven, he'll be fine.
No, literally, I was like, William, you make some good points. And then Ryan, you're like, but that's not true. And you made your points. I was like, made some good points.
That's also true.
Yeah. So, that means I'm right in the middle, so I'm just sticking with what I had.
Got it. You have a very easy one to talk about next, Brian.
Wow, let's see.
G2 versus SK.
I'm going to go G2, and that's really all I have to say.
I picked my prediction before even saying it out loud. Yeah, it's G2. Ryan, are you going to go bold?
Not in this game.
Good.
Good. Oh my god.
So there's no shot
If
here.
if G2 lose to SK, man, they literally have to be swapping all of their players to different lanes.
They're going ZADC again. They're doing the Evelyn. They're
Like
bringing that
Brock,
comp back out.
They're gonna put Jankos in top lane, Wonder's gonna play support, and it's just gonna be Mickey's gonna go mid, Caps jungle.
Yankos did
And
say they were
but
going
Perks is still gonna be AD carry because he was
Bard.
already roll.
Yanko said they could three-man Bard on the team, and I'm like, oh boy.
Oh god.
Next we have Excel versus Misfits. This one I think is people would originally say probably pretty close. So just two bad teams, but I believe in this Misfits Academy team. I don't believe in enough to beat Fnatic. That's too much. But I absolutely believe in them to have enough to be able to take down Excel. And definitely believe in them to be able to do that. And I just think Excel's really, really bad. Again, I'd always like to compare teams to Jin Air, and they might be as bad as Jin Air. But yeah, I got Misfits this game.
I got Misfits too. I think Kyrie's too good.
Interesting how I typoed and I typed in mad, but by accident instead of Misfits. That's LMS.
He's got the LMS in mind.
Yeah. You also
Could Excel beat Mad? Yeah, that made you think.
I want to say no.
Yeah. Well, then again, I think Jin Air could actually beat Excel. Frankly.
I
I
think so too.
hate Jin Air, so
Well-
I'm probably more biased towards my hatred for Jin Air than my bias for Team Liquid because, like I've said before, they are 5-59 since I started watching the LCK. You know how
That's
boring
because-
it is.
Well, I mean, that's because they never have to play Excel.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But
It's
5
one of those
game
sad things
wins.
where I think that them or Vici would probably win that best of the worst tournament I joked about.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That would
not
be
series
amazing.
wins,
I really
by the
hope
way.
they.
That
I
was
really
game
hope-
wins.
hope they-
Yeah, I hope they do a best of the worst too. That they're not going to because that's
Yeah.
embarrassing for those teams.
Like I
don't
said,
know.
they have Rift rivals, so they have East rivals
We-
and West rivals, and now we could just have worst rivals.
I actually have an idea.
It's just the worst of every team.
I have an
of every
idea
region.
that I'm actually going to tell you in Discord because that might actually work, and I don't want to say it on stream. it might not. It might not. Nothing might come from it, but I just thought of something for that. That might be kind of funny. A funny video
Coming
to do.
in 2020.
Yeah,
we have
because
the.
we can't do shit. We're lazy. So.
we have the League Review Invitational.
No. I'll-
Prize pool is $100.
Yeah, we're specifically inviting Jin Air
Yes.
Jin Air, Vici, Flash.
do nothing
Warrior.
but- to do
Bottom
nothing
two
but like
teams from each
quintuple.
region come.
We're gonna have them all like just 5-man queue only against William in every single game he plays.
Dude, I'd get so embarrassed.
Call us mad again.
You could literally 5-man queue of anyone, and they would just obliterate us. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This could be Delta Fox versus Jin Air.
Yeah, it
Who
would be. It would
wins?
absolutely be like that situation. Final game.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know if you marked me down, but yeah, I'm definitely going Misfits
Oh,
in this game.
yeah, I did. I did mark it down.
I
for
would be
this one.
surprised if Excel wins, but then again, less things have surprised me in Europe.
Yeah. Final game: Fnatic versus Origin. Brian, you finish this one. Actually, this is your game.
I think that this is do or die for this Origin team. They are dead in the water if they lose this. I mean, if they don't even look competitive, I just think there's
They're
maybe
done.
they'll make playoffs, but there's no chance like at a Worlds run.
Could they be the 100 Thieves of last year for NA?
You know, they may be, but like it's such a wasted slot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like 100 Thieves last year for NA.
well, 100 Thieves last year, it wasn't like they win and everyone's like, oh, they're gonna suck. It's just they suck. Like OG guys be like, okay, they're gonna do absolutely nothing. And they're not gonna win a game.
yeah. If
Well,
LMS gets 3 teams.
Okay, they'll win some playoff. Maybe they'll win some playing games, but like,
J Team is the only threat of the LMS, I would say.
yeah. If they get to a best of 5 after groups where you try and get to the main stage, whatever, how they do, no chance.
I agree. So, do you have Fnatic beating them in this game, even though this is do or die?
Yes.
I do too. I don't think their bot lane can hold up to Fnatic's. Again, Bwipo just can't play Rengar. That is a that can't happen. Then we'll be okay. Ryan, what do you have here? Do you have an upset?
Well, they say this game is do or die for Origin. I think they better call their next of kin because I think they're dead. And the sad thing is, man, the Origin is 5th right now. They're 5-5, which by the way is kind of funny. They're 5-5 and 5th, but
I didn't think about that, but yeah.
yeah. But the thing is, they're facing Fnatic and G2 this
5-7.
weekend. Yeah, 5-7. Look who's just beneath them. Rogue and Vitality are both 4-6.
And
Both those teams can conceivably jump up and tie them.
one of them has to because they play each other.
Well, no, one of them could win. Like if Rogue goes 2-0 and they beat Vitality, they're just above Origin.
Yep, and
They're 5th place. 5th place in Europe. Rogue.
yeah, and Rogue's probably going to beat Excel before that too.
Yeah. And that's the thing, if Vitality, if they either get one over on Rogue or if they actually get the upset over Splice on the first day, then they're at least they're tied.
Or
They're tied with them
tiebreaker to
immediately.
make playoffs. Like that's insane. Because at the beginning of the year, I think I was touting Origin as the 3rd best team, in that they got smashed to G2 and Fnatic or whatever.
Yep.
But I was like, okay, those 2 teams are acceptable to lose to. They will not lose to any other team. That has not been true since Rift Rivals.
And-
They've looked really bad.
Yep, and like you said, clutch just last week. I mean, we called it. The big brains called it. Vitality beat Origin. So
Mhm.
now, like Origin doesn't even have that on their side.
Okay,
It's yeah.
one of us
So
wasn't
but
big
the
brain
thing is,
there, so.
yeah, I still say it's deserved though. Origin just have looked like just looked bad. And I know it's rich coming from the NA guy, where I think Origin had probably like one of the best records against the North American
Yeah.
teams at rivals. But at the same time, man, like it's so cool. You stepped up your game against like TSM, who look like half trash, and they're still juggling junglers, and like Liquid beat them, and then they beat C9, who apparently were not only sick, but then I found out today that it wasn't just wrist issues with Licorice. He was apparently having like full nerve issues going up to his neck.
Really? I didn't hear
Yeah,
that. But
like it was up to his neck and all the way down his arm.
wow.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
yeah. So he like took a complete break after that week after Rift Rivals from
Makes
basically,
sense. Makes sense.
and then he only did halftime after halftime like the next week.
Did he
Just
at
to even
least
just try
Did he at
to try to
least
ease into it.
keep Cloud9 informed, unlike Crystal on?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he
yeah,
did. I learned like we learned it. It was actually on like they released their on Cloud9 thing today, and he talked about it.
yeah.
So my guess is that they didn't want to come out like immediately and just say everything, but
Yeah,
I think he
Crystal.
just went.
I don't know if you guys heard about this in the LPL. Crystal took family emergency leave. Like it makes sense. There's emergencies, family.
Mhm.
He was supposed to come back to the team in like a week. Hadn't contacted them in 10 days because his visa was delayed or whatever like that. But like he didn't even like message his team about like it being delayed. So they like fined him and gave him a strong warning or something, like, so like next time you screw up you're kicked off the team type situation. It just blew my mind that someone, like, imagine going to work and like saying, okay, Brian, you just did this with your vacation time, okay?
Hmm?
You tell your work that you're gonna be off these times, like you can't be there. They say, okay, you don't you like, so Monday comes around or Tuesday or whatever, and you don't show up. You don't contact them for 10 straight days. No contact whatsoever. Of course this team's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Most jobs you'd be fired after that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was very confused about that. Like, how do you not even like send an email or a text message at very least that, hey, my visa's being delayed, that's why I can't come back to work. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, it made no sense to me. Anyway,
Hey man, let's not judge it. We're a bunch of Western nobodies.
like, yeah,
We don't know. We don't know what things are like over there.
I guess we don't. You're all right. But with that, that's going to be the podcast today. Thank you for coming, Ryan. You joined in just in time for the predictions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian, for being here as well.
No problem.
So tomorrow we'll be doing the wild card podcast, and I got to catch up on those games. But I'm sure there's probably some exciting games there to go through, and I'll talk really fast, trying to get through 8 regions in one podcast because I'm a psychopath. But yeah, that'll be tomorrow, and then obviously Sunday LPL, and we start the whole week over again. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.